My grandfather, he had ALS and he died from it a few years before the project. There's just like a very big aspect of spaceflight and what astronauts face on the ISS or in microgravity is something called muscle atrophy. So their muscle deteriorates, and the same sort of thing happens in diseases like ALS.
She had an idea. She was going to compete to send an experiment to the International Space Station. I had no idea that 4 years later she'd actually send her project into outer space and that we'd be sitting here.
We wanted to use C. elegans, so that's the scientific name of this worm, and it's a good model organism for studying mussels. It was definitely a process that took a lot of persistence and trying different things and just not giving up, and eventually it was very rewarding to find that we finally were able to come up with the optimal conditions for the worms, for the experiment to succeed.
I've been passionate about space for a really long time. It's kind of cheesy, but it's true, and Annabelle and I were literally jumping for joy when we found out we won in the hallways.
It was awesome. It was like, I never would have thought, like, in grade 8 that I would be doing something so meaningful with science, but to watch our experiment launched into space, that was like something very meaningful to me.
Lift off for the Falcon 9.
We got to go to the launch pad in Cape Canaveral, and we got to watch the rocket go up and come back down, which was super, super cool. It's permanently engraved in my memory. Like, it's something you can't forget, and it's completely unique because you know your experiment's on there, but you can't see it, and you can't see it when it's in space, but you know it got there because you watched it go.
Houston on 2, departure burn 2 is complete. Go for SSRMS safing.
Interestingly, we found that the worms in space ended up being longer and thicker and compared to the worms on the ground, and the levels of the enzyme were actually lower in the ones in space.
Basically, she found the opposite of what she anticipated she should, based on what's in the literature. But there isn't that much in the literature. So the fact that Annie found this difference in an area of research that's relatively new, that we don't know that much about, this may be a real finding that could be quite significant for looking at regulation of muscle mass in the future.
I think especially the grade 8s that were involved in this project can show that really, like, at any age you can do science and you can participate in the whole scientific process.